We have all been there. You study for hours, you feel like you know the material inside and out, and then you get to the test, and it's all gone. We're going to talk about why that happens, and believe me, there's a way to stop it from ever happening again.
So picture this. You've put in 10, maybe more, solid hours of studying. You've made flashcards, your notes are perfect. You feel like you could teach the class yourself. You're feeling good.
Then the moment arrives. The test paper lands on your desk. You take a nice deep breath, you grab your pen, you flip it over, and you look at that first question.
And poof, it's just gone. A total, complete, frustrating blank. And you're sitting there screaming inside your head, I know this. I swear I know this. Why can't I remember it right now? It's this awful mystery that pretty much every student has faced.
But what if I told you that moment has nothing to do with how smart you are or how hard you tried? Cognitive psychologists have known for decades that this is just a predictable, kind of mean trick your brain plays on you. And the best part is, once you understand the trick, you can totally beat it.
So, what is this secret? Well, it turns out your memory doesn't just work randomly. It follows a secret rulebook, and everything is governed by this one really powerful idea that most of us never even learn about.
And here it is. Your memory is basically a package deal. See, when you learn something new, your brain doesn't just file away the fact itself. No, it bundles it up with everything else that's happening around you. The room you're in, the chair you're sitting on, how you're feeling, even the music you're listening to. It all gets shrink-wrapped together.
Now, there's a fancy name for this. It's called the Encoding Specificity Principle. A researcher named Endel Tulving came up with this way back in 1973, and here's what it means in simple terms. To find a memory, your brain tries to retrace its steps using the original context as a map. If the context at test time is different, well, your brain can't find the path back to the memory.
This idea completely changes what forgetting even means. It's not like an old photograph that's slowly fading away. It's much more like misplacing your car keys. The keys aren't gone, right? They still exist. They're perfectly fine. You just can't find them because you're looking in the wrong place. The memory is still in your head, fully intact. You just don't have the right cue to pull it out.
Now, this might sound a little abstract, but it was proven in one of the coolest and most famous memory experiments of all time. And yeah, it involves scuba divers.
So back in 1975, two researchers, Godden and Baddeley, set this whole thing up. They had one group of divers learn a list of words 20 feet underwater, and they had another group learn a list of words on the beach. Then, to test them, they mixed it all up. Some were tested underwater, some were tested on land.
The results were, well, they were just staggering. The divers who learned the words underwater and were tested underwater remembered way more. But when you took a diver who learned underwater and tested them on the beach, their recall absolutely plummeted. I mean, it's the same person, the same brain, the exact same information. The only thing that changed was the context.
We're talking about a nearly 40% boost in performance, just by making sure the place they learned was the same as the place they were tested. This was huge. It proved that the context isn't just background noise for your memory, it's literally part of the memory itself.
Okay, so what does this mean for you when you're studying for an exam, not learning words at the bottom of the ocean? Well, this science explains exactly why some of our most common study habits, the ones we think are the best, are actually setting us up to fail.
It really boils down to three big mistakes. Number one, having that one perfect, quiet, sacred study spot. Number two, practicing the information in a totally different format than the test itself, like using flashcards for an essay exam. And number three, only studying when you're calm and comfortable, which is, the total opposite of how you feel during a high-stakes test.
That second one, the format mismatch, is so important it even has its own name, transfer appropriate processing. It basically extends the context idea from your physical room to your mental state. If you only practice with flashcards, you're just training your brain to recognize answers. But an essay test requires you to recall information from scratch. The mental gears you're using just don't match up.
Okay, so that is the problem. Your studying has accidentally created these fragile memories that are locked to one very specific context. But, and this is the best part, the fix is actually really, really simple. You can intentionally build memories that are tough, robust, and accessible no matter where you are.
So here is the golden rule you need to remember. Variation is your best friend. Every single time you study the same material in a new place or a new way, you're forcing your brain to build a brand new road to that memory. The more roads you have, the easier it is to find, no matter your starting point. So how do we actually do this? It's easy. First, mix up your study locations. Don't stick to one spot.
Second, make sure your practice looks like the real test. Third, every now and then, try to study under a little bit of pressure, maybe set a timer. And finally, study at different times of the day, so your memory isn't tied to you feeling a certain way. And when we say vary your locations, we really mean it. Don't just stay at your desk. One day, go to the library. The next, review your notes at a coffee shop. Go sit on a park bench. Heck, even just moving from your bedroom to the kitchen table makes a difference. Each time you do this, you're teaching your brain to pull up that info without its usual comfort blanket of cues.
So if you only take one single thing away from all of this, let it be this next part. It's a dead simple, actionable rule you can start using literally today.
That's it, the 3-location rule. Whatever you're studying for right now, make it a point to go over that same material in 3 totally different spots this week. Now, I'll warn you, it might feel a little harder at first, because your brain has to work to find the information. But that struggle, that's the feeling of a stronger, more flexible memory being built.
So let's go back to that blank moment in the test. The next time that happens, I want you to remember this. You didn't fail, your method did. You didn't forget the information, you just used the wrong key to try and unlock it. But now, you know how to make a whole set of master keys.
You are no longer at the mercy of your environment. You actually understand the secret rules of your own memory. So the only question left is, are you ready to get started and build those new pathways to what you know?